Welcome to Domaine des Amiel. We've been living in this village for more than 500 years. On my dad's side, they always used to be farmers to grow grapes. They used to make wine in bulk, and then they stopped making wine. They started just selling the grapes to the cooperative seller in the village. And in 2012, with my brother, we decided to take over the vineyards and create our own winery with our own brand and our own labels. The vineyards were already organic. We started farming with biodynamic principles, and the idea was to make natural wines. So when we started, for us it was impossible to say in the same graphic design both that we were old heritage, old tradition, but also young guys who traveled a lot and got inspired in different countries. So we decided to create two ranges of wine. The family range, where all the wines pay tribute to members of the family with a strong sense of hierarchy. The wines go from 10 to 40 euros on the estate. And the brothers range, here on the left, where the wines have more funny looking labels, where the names of the wines are play on words about the grape varietal or the style of the wine. There is also a third range called Sous le Manteau, which is a little tribute to our very first wines. When we took over the vineyards in 2012, they were still in a contract with the cooperative seller, so we were not allowed to make wine yet. We had to deliver 100% of our grapes to them. We still kept a little bit sous le manteau, under the coat in English. It's when you do something illegally. Hence the label being like, shh, don't tell anyone, it's a secret. In 2016, we thought that this label was a good way to illustrate this a bit revolutionary way of working. So nothing illegal or secret anymore, just the spirit of doing things a bit out of the ordinary. So in this range, you will find the wines that are the most unusual or the smallest quantities. Since 2012 we took over the vineyards. We've been planting more than 2,000 trees around the vines. We believe it's very important for biodiversity. The idea of the line we are planting today is to do many different essences of trees, so we can have flowers all year long, and then bees and insects coming and trying to help biodiversity. It's just important to have thin earth, so we've been digging holes in the spring, adding a little compost inside to have easy to explore earth and fertile, and then we can water and let them grow. Most of the lines of trees we planted don't have any production target. It's just for biodiversity and help out balancing the ecosystem. But these lines we try to experiment to grow pomegranate, because we believe it's a type of fruit that can develop well in the area, and it could be a good complement of grapes. We're going to take a look inside the cellar. This building used to be my great-grandparents' house, and they used to make their wines next door. So we're going to see it changed a little bit over the last 10 years. Here is the bottling cellar, where we have our own bottling line for maybe 5 to 6 years from now. And we also have a few of those sandstone amphoras that we use to age some of our wines. So this is the main cellar where all the equipments are. When we are done picking the grapes, if we need to sort a little bit, it will be done in the vineyard. And we bring the grapes here in the cellar in small 10-kilo cases, and then we can process the fruit. Because we are not going to use any yeast, we usually go to the vineyards 5 to 6 days before the picking, and we're going to do what we call a pied de cuve in French, or a fermentation starter. We're going to pick a little bit of grapes to have the fermentation starting on that small batch, and then once it's well done, we're going to use this as a fermentation starter. You will find nothing special in a cellar when you work naturally, just a press, a destemmer, a pump, some tanks, a cooling system, and then that's all. Again, most of the work will be done in the vineyards with the grapes, and then all the work in the cellar will be just physical work, but no additives. The only additive we allow ourselves to use is sulfites in small quantity. It can be during the fermentations if you have bacteria issues, or it can be at the reception of the grapes if you didn't manage to sort pretty well the grapes. But normally, most of our wines get a little amount of sulfites just before the bottling. So we think about restaurant, wine bars that want to have the bottle open for a few days or a couple of weeks. We realized that with a little bit of sulfite, the wines were less sensitive to oxygen and more sustainable. None of our wines go above 30 milligrams of sulfites. There's nothing more happy than just planting a tree. It makes you feel great.